everything around me. Green, get the money, dollar bill, yo.
What's up, guys? This video is going to be a guide on my Slayer Pistol Duelist build. This is going to be a pretty long video, so I'm going to put up some timestamps in case you want to skip certain sections. So let's get started. First thing to talk about would be the disciplines. First discipline is Illusionist, first major discipline. This thing is just so OP that you really can't not run it. It's just amazing, especially for range classes. They just recently gave a lot of range classes the ability to use this. It's broken. It's really OP. I think it's probably going to get nerfed at some point, so don't get too attached to this one. But what it does is it gives you a crit. It just makes your damage insane. You get AP with Glamour Weapon. You get Hot Foot. That puts a slow on your third basic attack, which makes some of these range classes just insane. That alone makes them insane. And then you have Phantom Feints, which is 20+% damage bonus to anybody that's snared. And for the Duelist in particular, this is really good because it synergizes with Saltpeter rounds. So Saltpeter rounds is going to be putting a slow on all the attacks you do. So it's really good. Phantom Feints also makes that 20% extra damage, true damage, which is just, it's crazy. The whole thing is ridiculous. But I will list some replacements because I do think this is going to get nerfed. So some other things you could run in the future if you're watching this video in the future. Plague Lord, Escape Artist, Underdog, all of those work in replacement of this on the very, very high chance that this ends up getting nerfed. And the other discipline I like to run is Mole Hunter. And this is a bit of an odd one for a lot of people. They're like, why do you run that? I get a lot of kills on Mole Hunter. The way I play, my Duelist is a ganker character. This is not a brawl character. This is not a character that you go, hey, there's 5 guys over here. Let's get my 5 guys and we're going to bash heads. This is not a character where you want to take it to a fight that you know is going to happen. And for ganking, Mole Hunter is great because there's a lot of people that like to harvest in stealth. There's a lot of people that like to farm mobs on stealth characters. Anytime there's a group harvesting, it's a very common strategy to have the stealth guy pick up all the loot because if a fight does break out, that guy stealths away and keeps all the loot, and who cares if the other guys die. So not only will this get you a lot of kills, it will also get you high value loot pinata kills because everybody's got the same idea to give the stealth guy the loot. So you get a lot of good kills with this discipline. So yeah, highly recommend that. For minors, Weapon Finesse. Weapon Finesse on the Duelist is going to make your left mouse button attacks do slightly more damage, but more importantly, it's going to lower your cooldowns. So it's going to lower that flintlock shot cooldown. It's going to lower rapid fire. It's going to lower all those cooldowns. And there's not really a ton of other disciplines or minors I'd like to run instead of that. Not yet anyway. When you get Careless Whisper, that could very well go in place of Weapon of Finesse, but I do like the cooldowns being lowered. It's nice. Glass Cannon, I run this because it's fun. Honestly, it's not that good of a discipline, really. It gives you 10% more damage. Sounds good, but it also means you take 10% more damage. So I'm running this because this is my ganker character, and I gotta be quick with it. And I also don't have access to Careless Whisper. If I had access to Careless Whisper, maybe I'd drop Glass Cannon for Careless Whisper, but there's not really any aggressive disciplines that I would run in place of that. And this is more of a fun thing for me, right? Again, if you're getting into fair, even fights where don't siege on this build. This is not a siege build. This is not a go capture forts build. This is a, hey, I'm out in the woods. There's another guy out in the woods. I'm going to go kill him build. So, uniform leather, more AP, can't really go wrong with that, or at least not yet. So I've got 814 AP with Glamour Weapon, that goes up to, 960? So the AP cap is 1,000, so this discipline could very well get phased out in higher gear levels. Or, alternatively, if you don't want to phase out that discipline, if there's nothing else you'd like instead of it, you can opt to not take the steady hand AP talents. So you need to keep stat caps in mind. So this build is not evergreen. Some things may change on this build in the future when you have access to better vessels, better gear, and whatnot. So keep that in mind. Just always keep your stat caps in mind. So I think that's about all for the disciplines. I don't have any explorations on right now, but that's for professions. That's not really a PvP thing. So let's get into the talents. So the talents, I'm not going to talk about all this stuff. This is the main section. You might want to just, pause the video here if you care about this stuff too much. This is, again, a very aggressive build. But, yeah, I get everything down here in the Slayer tree. And this is the stuff I don't get. I recommend you sort of pay attention to the stuff I didn't get for this. Don't get the rapier powers for the Slayer Duelist. For the Pistol Slayer Duelist, I should specify Pistol Slayer Duelist, because you can also use a rapier with a Slayer as well. So don't get Ambush, don't get Impale. Yeah, just don't get those if you're planning on only using 2 pistols. Let's talk about some of these talents specifically that really change the way you play. First one being Quick Draw. Quick Draw is a Slayer only talent, which is going to make your flintlock shot be flash castable, meaning that you can animation cancel with it, meaning that you do an attack and then you can immediately flintlock shot after it. So that absolutely changes the way you will play, and it's your bread and butter, man. It hits hard, it can knock down, and it's free damage, and you can combo it with other stuff and do pretty big burst damage. Well, big for the Slayer Duelist. So yeah, and I'll show an example here of what flash castable means, just real quick. So you see you see how it's not on GCD, it's not spinning like that. I can do an immediate left click and shoot and do 2 attacks for the price of 1, from a time perspective. Now, it's very important that you do it in that order. You want to do the attack and then flintlock, not flintlock then the attack. So if I do flintlock shot, it will trigger a GCD. So you need to essentially hide that GCD inside of another GCD. So it's very important. Shoot, then flintlock, and it's free, essentially. So yeah, that's a very defining Slayer talent. Nobody else gets that but the Slayer. And that, so I only talked about the first part of that talent. So let's get back to that. Your flintlock shot can also be reset by your basic attacks. So you have to keep a real close eye on that flintlock shot power to make sure that you're using the resets and you're using the resets properly. So I like what they did with this mechanic, right? You can't just spam flintlock shot. If you sit there and spam flintlock shot, right, you will not animation cancel it with your previous abilities. So if you're just sitting there going, spamming 1 all the time, you're inevitably going to hit it on the GCD and then waste time. So I really like that. It's kind of neat how you've got this cool little animation cancel that you want to weave into your gameplay. So let's talk about another defining talent right next to it, Dynamite. Dynamite is baller. This thing gives you tons of mobility. It's got 2 charges if the power will load in. This is going to shoot you. I think the tooltip is inaccurate. I think it's 20 meters away now. It's a 20-meter dodge, and it refreshes your 2 previous dodges, meaning you can dodge, dodge, dynamite, dodge, dodge, dynamite, dodge, dodge. Yeah, it's crazy. You can just get the fuck out of basically any situation. It's a lot of fun. And now it does put down actual dynamite. It does actually put down dynamite. That is super unreliable. Nobody uses this thing for damage. If you do get a dynamite hit on somebody, it's kind of like a cool MLG play. And the dynamite does hit pretty damn hard. But certainly I would not recommend that you there's a big group of people fighting, I'm going to run in and drop dynamite. That's not really going to work out that well for you. So that's a badass power. And I'm going to go ahead and show that because I'm not going to go over this power again in the abilities. Oh, I can't. Well, I lied. You're just going to have to take my word for it. It refreshes your dodge pips. You'll see in any of my ganking footage what it does. It's sick. You know what it does. Whatever. Now, Rapid Fire. This is another very critical talent for the Slayer Duelist. This is going to increase your run speed while channeling Rapid Fire. It's awesome. You can sprint and use abilities at the same time. If anybody hasn't played in a while, this did not used to be the case. You used to have to pick between sprinting and using abilities, but I don't know, I guess about a year ago, something like that, they allowed you to actually be able to sprint and use your abilities simultaneously. So yeah, rapid fire stacking sprint is a really, really, really good. So, I think that's about all for the talents. I missed the capstone. So the capstone talent is the Slayer passive. This is going to make your inconceivable a lot more consistent. That is the main thing. So you can make your redirect pain better, and you get the extra dodge pip at 10 stacks. The dodge thing is honestly sort of annoying sometimes. Sometimes you don't want that free dodge. Sometimes you'd rather just preserve those 10 stacks for your buff or for your redirect pain. So that is kind of a blessing and a curse. It's usually a blessing, but sometimes it's definitely a curse when you dodge with 10 stacks and you have 2 dodges already, and you're like, oh, I'd rather just have burned the dodge than burn the stacks. Because it will do that. It will burn the 10 stacks and then dig into your actual dodge pips. So, the main thing this thing is going to do is it's going to give you very, very consistent 5-stack inconceivables. It's going to make your inconceivable considerably more consistent. And you want to stack up the Slayer buff. You want to stack up the Feeling Lucky stacks with rapid fire. You can get the stacks with your attacks, with your other non-basic attacks, with the exception of Go for Broke, which I don't know is a bug, but currently Go for Broke does not generate stacks. If it did, that would be awesome, and hopefully it will, but who knows. Yeah, so rapid fire, this is the rapid fire talent, essentially, because outside of rapid fire, it's going to be pretty hard to build up those stacks. You can build up these stacks with buffs, or with debuffs, I should say. I know a lot of people are running Plague Lord to get extra stacks, but relative to rapid fire, it's still not much. Rapid fire really is going to be your bread and butter in building these stacks, because rapid fire also increases your critical hit chance every time it hits, and it hits 20 times really quick. So yeah. So that's about it for the talents. Now I'm going to go over in depth what all the powers do. Flintlock Shot, we covered this earlier, but yeah, Flintlock Shot is going to be your bread and butter. It will knock down exposed targets if they're in the middle of an attack. It depends on the situation. A lot of the times, I would not try to knock somebody down with this power. Like, don't try and I'm gonna wait for the assassin to be mid-dagger swing, and then I'm going to flintlock shot him. I wouldn't do that, because that with the server latency and with all this, by the time you see him do that attack, he's probably done with that attack on his screen. Now, there are certain spells that you can do this with and can reactively do it. Nature's Avatar is an easy one. A lot of Druid skills are very slow. A lot of the Frostweaver skills are very slow. Myrmidon, a great one. Pulverize. A lot of Myrmidons. It depends on the Myrmidon, but a lot of them are very slow with their Pulverize. They're not doing those last-second Pulverizes, and you can get a lot of crashes if you are hitting that Flintlock Shot on the Pulverizes. Champion Leap. Champion is leaping in the air through at you. Not today. Knock him down mid-jump. It's awesome. So, yeah, Flintlock Shot, great ability. Use this almost always when it comes up. I don't really hang on to it. I don't really save it for the clutch situations unless I think something is going to happen. Like if I'm kiting a champion, then maybe I'll save it for the leap. Or if I'm fighting a Myrmidon and I think he's going to go for the Pulverize, or I've put a lot of damage into him. But for the most part, I'm throwing this thing out the second it procs, the second it pops back off cooldown. So yeah, it's very, very good. So next ability, Pepper Shot Box. This ability is, I'm going to get some heat from this. I'm going to get a little bit of heat for this, but the ability is a little bit overrated in my opinion. I see a lot of people spamming this ability rather than building up their stacks or doing other things. Pepper Shot Box, in my opinion, is not the bread and butter of the Duelist build in a ganking in a 1v1 solo single target context. I think you're better off building with rapid fire and getting those buffs up and sort of supercharging yourself, but it hits multiple targets. So if you're in one of these crazy siege situations where you've got just tons of people to hit, you can hit 3 targets, and it's got a huge AoE. And it does pretty good damage in that context, but I honestly do not use the ability that often. With Retaliate the way it is, the stun is not that great. In fact, it can be very counterproductive because you can stun somebody and have them snared, and then they retaliate your stun, and now they're no longer snared, and they can just run at you, and you lose the illusionist damage buff, and you lose the snare, and you can't CC them with Flintlock. I mean, there's some serious cons to CCing people in the current Retaliate, with Retaliate the way it currently is. So I don't think it's that great, but if you have all your buffs up and you have if you have yourself fully supercharged with all your buffs and you've got your 10 stacks of feeling lucky in the bank, yeah, you get to the point where you can just do Flintlock shot, left mouse button, Flintlock shot, left mouse button, and you're just doing pepperbox shot after pepperbox shot, 2 seconds in between. You get to that point, then yeah, it's sick damage and it's awesome, but I don't really use it that much. Next up, we have Rapid Fire. This ability is probably the ability that I use the most out of the entire Duelist kit. It doesn't do a ton of damage, but it has a lot of utility. First of all, it gives you the 25% movement speed. This 25% movement speed stacks with sprint, so you can sprint while you're rapid firing to run really, really fast. And I'm probably just going to put some clips up of me rapid firing just to sort of give you an idea of how fast you can run. This is also going to build your stacks of feeling lucky. So you're going to get those better inconceivables, more buffs. You're going to get the more dodges. You're going to get the better redirect pains. All of that while moving pretty darn fast and doing decent damage. It's not crazy damage, but it's pretty good. So this ability, the way it functions is also very unique. So it functions a lot like the Troubadour abilities. So with the rapid fire, you aim rapid fire at the person you want to hit, and then once you're channeling it, you can do whatever you want. You can run with it. You turn 180 and run with it. You can look around the field, whatever. Once you have your rapid fire target acquired and you hit the ability, assuming you don't line of sight them or outrange them, it is going to hit that target. I believe that is by design, because why else would they give you the movement speed? It sort of seems dumb if you had to like S key away from the person while channeling rapid. I don't know. I think it's intended, but if it's not, you can still somewhat use it with utility. It's hard to say whether this is intended or not. A lot of people think it might not be, but then I point to Troubadour, and Troubadour also functions the same way. So I don't know. We'll see if they change it. Who really knows? But if they do change it and make it to where you have to face them the entire time, I could see this power sort of just not even being used. I talked it up a whole lot just now, but you're also, oh God, down for 15 minutes. Oh God, I gotta do this quick. So I talked about this ability a lot, but it's also sort of the downside, right, is that you're not doing as many left mouse button attacks and you're not proccing as many Flintlock shots. So if this ability does end up getting nerfed in the future and you can't run with it like you can now, you can just take it off your bar, really. I mean, the supercharged nature of rapid fire is nice, but getting more Flintlocks is also really nice, and having the extra slot. So we'll see what they do with this ability. I personally, I hope they don't change it, because I think it is cool and it's a lot of fun, man. It is just fun to use it the way it is currently, and I don't really think it's that OP, considering the Duelist is not exactly meta right now anyway. But we'll see what they do. Next up, Inconceivable. This thing is sick. This is what gives you all the buffs. It makes your Duelist into a god. When you get all these buffs up, the main one in particular is Humiliations Galore. It just makes your pip generation insane. You get another pip. Every pip generator just gives you an extra one. So it allows you to get 5 pips really quick and start spamming out those pepperbox shots really, really fast. But also, the other ones are nice too. I mean, hitting twice, having your attacks randomly hit twice, that's pretty good. 9% damage, that's pretty good. 9% crit, that's pretty good. 19% crit amount, that's also really good. But the main one you really want, the one that everyone likes, is the Humiliations Galore, because that just makes you go Super Saiyan. And this, with Feeling Lucky, is pretty fantastic. Next up, Saltpeter Rounds. This is one of the reasons that Weapon Finesse is nice, because it's going to lower that 24-second cooldown down to like 22. Let's see, what's it lower? Yeah, down to about 22. So it's going to improve that uptime while also giving you the other benefits. But, yeah, so you have damn near 100% uptime with saltpeter rounds, which is going to make all your pistol attacks inflict a slow and also increase your range bonus by 5. This ability is usable in stealth. I would show you, well, you can see right now, it is usable in stealth. That is a new change, so keep that in mind. But yeah, you can't really go wrong with this ability. With Illusionist, it's amazing. Even when Illusionist does hopefully get nerfed, it'll still be good to just have that up all the time. And just to show you, it is usable in stealth. So yeah, pretty nice. Next up, what do we have here? Let's go back to the melee tray. Redirect Pain. This ability can be crazy. So 1400 barrier. Doesn't really sound that great, but 55% retribution is amazing. So when somebody breaks through that 1400 barrier and then they start attacking you after they break that barrier, they're going to be hitting themselves for 55% of the damage they do. They hit you for 1,000, they take 550 damage. So yeah, it works out exactly like that, I believe. And with Feeling Lucky, that gets knocked all the way. If you do a 10 stack Redirect Pain, it's going to give it 65% retribution damage. So they hit you for 1,000, they take 650 damage. So that is crazy, man. This Redirect Pain ability is going to allow you to fight range classes that would normally be able to kill you if you weren't using this ability. Now, there are some classes that can still just tunnel you through it because they're just OP as fuck. Right now, that being Frostweavers to a degree and Archers. I don't know if Archers are super. Yeah, they're pretty fucking OP. But Archers can just pop their ultimate twice and just blow you up through it and not give two fucks. So it's good, but it's not godly. But it's definitely good. Now we have the Mole Hunter ability, Heads Up. This is going to allow you to see people in stealth. It's very good. It hits everybody in your group. So this is, if you're on your Slayer or Ganker and somebody wants to invite you to a group to do some sort of combat, whatever, this is the thing you can bring that's nice for everybody. I personally don't do a lot of group activities on the Slayer. Not really, but it's nice. And it also removes the exposed state. So you have some utility there, but the main reason I use it is to gank stealth people. And lastly, Glamour Weapon. Not much to say here. More AP. The tooltip is bugged. It says 15 seconds. I think it's like 60 some. It's insane. What is it here? Oh, I don't have any pips. You're gonna have to trust. I'm gonna have to look at the combat video. It's a long time. It's close to 100% uptime. I want to say it lasts for like 45 seconds, maybe something like that. But yeah, more AP. Not much to talk about there. And lastly, let's talk about the Stealth Tray. The Stealth Tray, you have Go for Broke. This ability can be awesome. It can hit for a lot of damage. It hits multiple targets, up to 3, and it returns you back to stealth. And if you do it on an exposed target, it has 100% crit. So you can do a lot of damage with this. The only problem is this. Let's say I'm trying to gank this guard right here. And I go for broke. And he starts running away. I am locked into that animation. You cannot move for a very long time when you pop Go for Broke. And it has a 15-meter range. 20 meters when you modify it with saltpeter rounds. But it's got a short range. So, it's questionable in a ganking context because so many people like to run that a lot of the times you don't get that full Go for Broke anyway. You'll be channeling the Go for Broke, get about half of it off, and they get away from the other half, and then you're sitting there like an idiot for another 5 seconds while your guy's going back into stealth and coming out of stealth, and you're having to chase him down, and you got no combo points, and you might have just been better off doing snipe in the first place. So yeah, I don't really use it a ton. It is cool when there's a bunch of people on a mother load and you just do Go for Broke and hit them all a bunch, and it's neat, but it's not that great. It can be awesome, but most of the times I think it's more of a liability than it's worth. Next up, Tunnel. This is just a, it just shoots you forward 20 meters in stealth. I tried to use it. Let's see, I can actually use this one outside the temple. This ability is a little bit buggy on certain terrain, so you have to be a little careful with it. On anything temple related, any sort of like stone floors like the temple or outside of a rune gate, anything that looks fancy that's not normal ass grass, there is a very good chance it's gonna bug out. So this, it should work in theory right here, but it might bug out. So it's gonna blink me forward. Yeah, so it worked. You can use this to get under walls, get through walls, and all kinds of stuff. So one thing you can do, right? Let's say I'm chasing this bush down. You can run, get up close to him, get off your mount, stealth, get over there, then recon, and then do it. And just a way to get ahead of them if they're running in a certain direction. It's also great for running away from people. If you run away from somebody and re-stealth, then you can sort of blink a certain direction, throw people off. There's tons of stuff that you can do with that ability. It's a lot of fun. Recon, this puts your expose up. Oh god, gotta go quick. This puts your expose up, allows your flintlock shot to knock down, allows your snipe to generate extra pips and crit. It's really good. I mean, the other abilities, the main thing it does, right, the main reason you want to expose is that it makes your flintlock shot knock down and do more damage. That flintlock shot knockdown is pretty nasty, especially when you get more procs. CC in this game is not great, but in the case of flintlock shot, when it's just able to be thrown out with such frequency and also do a ton of damage, it's nice. Having that expose up is nice. Absolutely not mandatory, but yeah, if you can get that recon opener, it's really nice. However, people are very aware of the recon noise now, so if they hear that recon sound, they start running, man. They just get scared. So you got to keep that in mind. If the target you're facing is somebody that can run away from you, which is pretty unlikely on the Slayer Duelist, but if it's a situation where you have to kill them before they run back to a fort or something like that, maybe you don't want to recon. Like you just got to think about that a little bit. And snipe, this is what I normally open up with. It just, it's a nice little opener. It doesn't hit super hard, but gives you pips, and it's better than opening with left mouse button. Not much to talk about there. Not much of a commitment, really. It doesn't do as much damage as the whole go for broke sequence, but there's no commitment, and you can instantly start doing your normal damage rotation and building yourself up. Whereas with go for broke, once it's over, it's like, fuck, now I got to start the train back up again. So I don't know. Hard to say which one to really go with all the time, but I think snipe is the safer of the options. Now on to the gameplay segment of the video. This first clip is of an assassin and his healer buddy turning in some caravans, and this is what the duelist does best: stealing stuff as soon as people get it. And I'm going to open up on this assassin here and immediately pop my heads up stealth detection power. So open up on him, immediately pop it, because I know his first instinct is going to be, oh shit, I need to get into stealth so I can get away with these caravan goods. And there he goes, he pops into stealth. I see him clear as day. I can't pop him out instantly because he's got that barrier, but I know exactly where he was, popped him out as soon as that barrier faded, and now he's pretty screwed. A lot of people panic the second they get popped out of stealth, because they're so used to that power being a free get out of jail free card, and the whole thing sort of falls apart really quick when you do that to somebody typically. Well, you see right here, I'm able to just keep my distance. I'm playing this very defensively. This is a matchup where I know that this assassin is not going to be able to do a ton of damage to me, so I don't really need to be trying to win the race here. All I need to do is just be defensive with my rapid fires, keep my feeling lucky stacks up high so I have dodges in order to get away from him or to chase him, and he goes down right there, and I'm going to end up cleaning up this druid a little bit later and stealing all their stuff. And as you could tell, as you could probably guess, the person with the goods was the assassin, so having that anti-stealth is going to get you the loot, man, because typically the stealthers are going to be the ones that have it. This next clip is the same thing, but it's an Earthkeeper druid. And what I really want to highlight here is the amount of CC I put on this Earthkeeper through flintlock shot. So here he goes, jumping around the corner. Gonna hit him with a flintlock shot. Flintlock knockdown 1. Building up my rapid fire stacks. Gonna come around the corner again, hit him with another one, and I am just building up my feeling lucky stacks, trying to get that 5 buffs. There we go. I get the 5 buffs off Inconceivable, hit him with another Flintlock knockdown. Now he's gonna pop his ultimate and cleanse that expose, so I don't have Flintlock knockdown anymore, but at this point I have 5 buffs. Now watch how fast I'm gonna put down these pepperbox shots. So, boom, 5 combo points, pepperbox shot. Boom, 5 combo points, pepperbox shot. And he's smart here, so he roots me and blinks away, so he actually blinked that pepperbox shot, which is a pretty good play, but I'm going to pop my ultimate there and double dodge in and catch back up to him. And at this point, I'm just rapid firing. I'm trying to build up my stacks again, just in case I need to dodge away or dodge to catch him again if he blinks again or something. But he's dead at that point. And yeah, lots of CC when you can get that 5. When you get those 5 buffs, man, it's crazy. Now, this is the clip that ties it all together. This is going to be a 3v1. I see this Ranger here. Rangers are a huge threat. Rangers are probably your biggest counter class, so I have to take this guy out quick. And you're going to see that even though this is a 3v1, I damn near die to just this Ranger, because Rangers just eat duelists alive. And luckily, I'm going to be able to kill this guy before his melee friends collapse on me too much. And you see, I'm getting pretty low. This fight is going very, very poorly for me right now. But I'm gonna get the Ranger down. I got the Ranger down. Pop my ultimate. Get out of dodge. Now, this play was complete greed, completely greedy. I just bloodlust, whatever. I have no health, but I see that it's an assassin and a Templar, 2 classes I do very well against. So I'm like, fuck it. I don't care if I don't have 2k. I got 1.8k HP. This is doable. So what I'm gonna do? Open up with the recon. Snipe, pop my anti-stealth immediately, and now I can't be hit. It's Floyd Mayweather time, dude. It's a Templar and an assassin. It's doable, but I have to be smart, and I'm playing this really defensive. Get the Flintlock knockdown right there, tearing this assassin up, keeping my distance with that rapid fire, just running the hell away from people. And oh my god, he hit me with the stun. He hit me with the stun, but luckily I had a CC break there to get out of it. I didn't waste all my stamina sprinting. And now it's just the Templar, which is a pretty good fight. Slayer Duelist is really good against Templars. There's no real getting around it. It's a rough fight for a Templar, but he had a good stun. A good stun there. That was a solid play. He almost got me with that leap. Yeah, that was a good play by him. But I'm gonna end up eventually taking him down for the 3v1. One of my favorite moments of Dregs so far was, engaging those 2 guys at 1.8k HP or whatever I was at and pulling it off. So anyway, I hope this video was a little bit helpful for you. Let me know what you guys think. As always, if you're interested in Crowfall, be sure to sign up with my referral link in the description down below. If you sign up with that link, you get into the beta for free, which will be starting up fairly soon-ish, and you get 5% off. So at the very least, sign up with that link if you're interested, and get your spot in line for the beta for when that starts up, which should be soon TM. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you thought of the guide video. Let me know if you have any suggestions for me. I'm certainly no samurai guru master of this, but so yeah, you might have something better. So let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one.